game is so I could get there. That's my only reason. The bad thing is I do leave my friends behind because of it. And
yes, he does.
Because here I am, I'm trying to get to my goal. And my friends can't do everything I do with my goal.
And we also have different working schedules.
This is true. That also hurts us, too.
The reason Morgan Dane is the only 70 I've got is due in large part to Crystal. Up until about level 55, and Mike leaving the server we were all on, which is the only reason why we were there in the first place. Man, I couldn't let a girl beat me. It was neck and neck.
And now let's start talking about Crystal, another mutual friend of ours. A lot of us have, me and Elijah have worked at Pizza Hut. She is willing to help you out in a drop of a dime. Natalie being Joe's wife, and she is another character that we've been playing with. I
liked her rogue, man. That little rogue, easy to heal up.
Yeah, rogues are pretty cool.
See, the problem with playing with a 56 at the time, he's now 57, is when you have a 70 warrior trying to heal them up, and you're playing mostly Shadow Priest, is a real difficult challenge, and you run through mana like
nothing. You could throw out all the big heals,
going out of style,
and that might be a quarter of his health.
Yeah, I hit you with 2 big heals, and you went from 40% to 60. And I'm like, I'm almost half out. I'm on call.
Well, too, granted, my character with buffs comes to almost 15,000 health, but of course that's what the warrior's gear is meant for, is all the health and stuff like that. But a lot of the
and you have all purples.
Well, yeah, I would say
I've never owned a single
purple. If you've got all
in the
purples,
game.
how can you get higher gear than that?
There's more purples that are above that.
I was listening to the BlizzCast, and they were talking about how they're going to start centralizing the gear. Instead of you either go PvP gear or you go PvE gear. They're going to start balancing it to where it's interchangeable.
PvP meaning player versus player, or PvE meaning player versus environment, meaning the environment of the game.
Which I don't know of anybody that can solo level as well as I do.
Well, I mean, I can't do that because I did 3 levels in a day. It was my best I've ever done.
No, but I'm saying consistently get in there and play all by yourself.
Well, yeah, I mean, all of us have done it. We've all done it, but we've all soloed. We've all had to solo. You have to solo some of the game.
Since Burning Crusade and all the level 70s, the game for the lobbies from 1 to 65 is mostly, even guilds nowadays don't help out enough.
Well, let's go a little higher and say 20 to 65, because there's a lot of people that make alts. Alts being the alternative character you play. And some people just don't want to play their highs, and they just want to start another character, play a different class most of the time, different race a lot of times too.
Like me, I've got 3 level 22 rogues.
So
it's like I can't cross the level 22 rogue barrier.
That's how it was when we were first playing. That's how it was.
I don't know if
Thera,
I should play
there was a girl or a guy. We never knew. The in-game character was a female night elf, Thera. We were all the envy of Thera because when she came in with us into the guild we made, she was, 5 or 6? She was a normal lobby. Here we are struggling, doing our best, and we're all like level 35, and she hits 40. We're going, you were just 30 last week.
The player Thera, she taught us a lot of what we need to do.
Oh yeah, Thera was a great learning person.
She already knew the game very well.
She told you quest strategy. Hold all the quests. Don't turn them in until you hit that next level. Then turn them in.
Yeah,
and it'll rocket you almost halfway.
Try to learn where all the quests point you in the direction, so you can do all of them in the same area.
Exactly. Maximize your resources for one area instead of scattering it.
Of course, again, if you don't have, what's the mod called again?
Lightheaded.
Lightheaded.
Oh, it's a. Oh.
Unless for those people who don't understand where to go, lightheaded, you can try to point you in the right direction. Hopefully, you have the right mods. Also, just to say a point about another bonus I like about Titan Panel is it's not a resource hog. It doesn't.
That's true. It's very, very light on what it consumes.
Right. It doesn't hold a lot of your. It doesn't kick back a lot of your frame rate or a lot of your latency. I really appreciate whoever created that. It's very good. Very good idea.
Look, wait a second. Okay, how can a mod mess with your latency? Does it talk to the server?
No. Not.
It's
got to talk.
Go for it.
It's got to keep talking to the game. just like your character. When your character's moving, you're talking to the game.
Right.
This mod is doing stuff with the game and with your computer. So it's got to talk to the server and talk to your computer constantly. And you're interacting with the server. So you got the mods and you both interacting with the server. And eventually it drops, most of the time it'll drop your frame rates. Frame rate is really bad because just for me on a personal note is my frame rate's always bad because I have a whole lot of mod.
Yeah, frame rate can lead to a serious problem called lag.
Lag is real bad.
But what, doesn't it just take the information that your server sends your computer and translates it for?
A single
But you're
pipe.
talking about but you're talking about bandwidth too.
Right, you have a single pipe.
It should go by whatever information you have on your computer that the server sends to it.
Right.
Server information.
Right, and it keeps asking for information from the server.
Push, pull, push, pull, push, pull.
Like, for instance, a creature is far away. You are at point A. The creature's at point B. You move forward. You just now told the server that you moved forward.
Right.
The server tells you, okay, this is what I see on the server. So now it shows you a relationship between you and the board. So for every footstep you take, you just talk to it, and it just talks to you.
Right.
But you got to keep doing that.
Right.
over and
So
over.
why doesn't it just use that information, process it, and come up with the mods? Because I mean, like
There's more.
backspace.
No, there's more information. What if you're doing movement? What if you're doing scouting? What if you're doing scanning? What if you're doing adding? What if you're doing all these adds? All these different things. You are shooting a whole lot down the pipeline, and then it's got to shoot all this information back.
Right. I still don't see how that would go up there and cause you to have. I mean, latency. Latency is basically your signal between you and the server, right?
Right. Now I haven't seen mods affect latency that bad. The most things mods affect is your frame rate.
Yeah, that I can understand.
But I've never had a problem with latency with my mods. I've had a problem with frame rate. But I've heard people having problems with the latency. Of course, they have a bad connection most of the time too. But if you had a bad connection, now you got all these mods keep talking. You got all this stuff talking back and forth. What can you do? So
And then, of course, there's always buffer problems.
yeah, that's true too. But like I said, I don't think latency is an issue with mods. I think frame rate is. We'll probably talk back more with our next episode of Geek Dimension. I'm one of your hosts, Joe.
I was Morrow.
And of course, the love of your life, Elijah.
We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you.
Signing off.
Bye.
Peace out.
Years into the future, mankind has conquered the solar system. Humanity has entered a new era of peace and exploration, but a looming threat could spell the end of everything. The fate of civilization rests in the hands of an unlikely hero.
Excuse me, hero? You know, I've been called a lot of things over the years. Criminal, con artist, traitorous bitch. But hero? Well, yes, but they were being sarcastic. This is the story of how I saved the universe.
Space Casey is an audio drama miniseries from Christiana Ellis. Subscribe now at www.spacecasey.com.
You'll love it. Trust me.
Our theme music is Weight of Life by the band Uncle Bonehead. I want to give a big thanks to Mr. Ryan Ridner for allowing us to use his song as our theme song. If you would like to check out and see what Mr. Ridner, Uncle Bonehead are doing, please go over to myspace.com/Uncle Bonehead Show. That's UNKLEBONEHEAD Show, SHOW. Mr. Ridner is also a part of an online magazine for the promotion of indie artists in the Michigan area. And if you would like to check that out, please go to MichiganIndieMusic.com. This episode's bed music was Stealth Geek, and it was performed by Selvium. You can find out more about Selvium at www.selviumsaliva.com. That is www.selviumsaliva.com.
Geek Dimension is licensed under the Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivative Works 3.0 United States. Please feel free to download this podcast as much as you like, and make as many copies as you want on any format that you can think of, and give them to whomever you like. But don't change the podcast, or use it in a commercial capacity, unless you ask first. And please tell everyone where you got this podcast from.